Good morning, friends. My name is Bhaskar. I am from Chennai. Now I live in Hong Kong. I've done a master's in business management, studied China business, and I studied finance at University of Michigan Ann Arbor Business School. Um, I've been in the shipping industry for the last 12 or 13 years now. I work for a German multinational group, which we operate about 650 ships worldwide. All types of ships, container ships, gas ships, tankers, and bulk carriers. And I have been fortunate enough to undertake this program on Six Sigma and see whether it is applicable to our industry and whether we can make some improvements based on such learning. After finishing the green belt, now I am still undertaking the black belt program now. Please allow me to discuss a little bit on our business itself because it's a very unusual business. We are basically a third-party ship manager, which is an asset management business. So ship owners either do not have the time or the resource or the knowledge or the willingness to handle the risks when it comes to managing the ships. So they outsource it to people like us. So it's a very typical outsourcing business in that sense. But I would say it's a very high value added outsourcing because we are managing a multi-million-dollar assets. Each ship has almost 21 people, 21 human beings, highly educated workforce. We have $1 million minimum operating budget for every ship for 1 year. The asset value is anywhere from $60 million to even $300 million for LNG ships. So it's a pretty huge effort, and the owners had to develop the trust in the people handling the ships. Plus, more importantly and increasingly importantly, the systems and the policies and practices adopted by the company. And we are basically hiring seafarers and training them to ship the cargo from location A to location B without any loss of cargo, life, asset, reputation, environment, and time. This is in a nutshell our job. In fact, over the last 4 to 5 years, both the nature of risks and the quantum of risks has dramatically changed our landscape. I think the most important example I can give is the piracy menace in the Somalian side, and a huge number of our ships, as to other ships, apply that area, and we have had threat to almost all these aspects which we discuss now, right from human beings to cargo to even the ship itself is sometimes hijacked. So this is the environment in which we operate. We also have to go through a huge auditing mechanism, both with ISO audits. We have QHSE manuals for pretty much almost all our operations on board the ships and also in offices. And more importantly, from a commercial perspective, we need to both pass and maintain a certain level of performance level when it comes to the oil majors. So there are companies like Shell or BP or ExxonMobil which regularly audit our processes, and based on the outcome of such audits, they either approve a ship to be taken as for charterer or for they give remarks, and that has huge implication because if there are any adverse remarks or if it's on the blacklist, then the ship cannot trade. No charterer will accept this ship. So this is the environment in which we operate. In terms of the people in our industry, I mean our company, we employ almost 17,000 seafarers and about 1,500 odd shore staff. And I have been in the consulting business earlier with Ernst & Young in India, and I find the kind of workforce which we have in our industry is highly educated workforce, but they have a traditional outlook, I would say. So some of the areas which we see in shore-based industries, whether it's the technology improvements or whether it is some of the mindset approaches of Six Sigma or things like that, have not yet percolated to our industry for a variety of reasons. One, of course, is the cost itself. We have a huge cost for data upload and download because the ships have to handshake with satellite, and the cost of uploading data is quite prohibitive. So therefore that limits the applications of some of these technology aspects. But I would also say that we have been an industry which has been very traditional in its outlook for thousands of years. So slowly, in terms of risk management, in terms of some of these best practices, over the last 20 years as an industry, we have made huge headway. And our culture of continuous improvement, which has been brought in by ISO culture and by oil majors to some extent, um, has really paid dividends in the last 20-25 years or so. And our effort is to see what other best practices we can learn from other industries and bring in those kind of principles here. Because if you look at the industry profile maybe 15-20 years ago, or the seafarers profile, the average age of captains and chief engineers used to be maybe even 50 or 52 or 55, because experience was the only way for people to learn the tricks of the trade, and it was passed down from generation to another generation. But now increasingly we find that the average age of our captains and chief engineers is dropping, more so in the case of captains. And these days the average age is about 30 to 35 in that age group. Now this has forced us to do a rethink on a couple of aspects. One is, of course, the element of technology has to be somehow brought in, because these guys are used to having always on access for websites and YouTube and Facebook and those kind of parameters. They want to be in touch with their families when they are on ships. So we are trying to see if we can install broadband always on systems for our ships, which can also in future hopefully facilitate not only crew satisfaction element, but also the data exchange and uploading of reports and data capture from ships to officers. The second point, which VK rightly asked now, is about the process excellence. Now, process excellence also demands the data capturing and sharing of data. So, technology, of course, will facilitate, but equally important is what we call the mindset change, and that is also slowly improving remarkably, because youngsters are more attuned towards these kind of concepts. In fact, we find several of our young captains and officers willing to do an MBA program, either part-time, or in many cases they've even resigned their full-time ship jobs and gone on to the MBA programs in ISB or in other kind of schools in India. Similarly, in Philippines or in Russia or in Poland or any other countries we recruit our people from. So I think it's a combination of both these elements. And lastly, in terms of industry profile itself, again the risks have increased, because we see that the time required to undertake many of these jobs is very short. So port stay today, for example, of a container ship is about maybe a few hours, less than 12 hours in a lot of cases, compared to, let's say, 3 days or 4 days 20 years ago. So the pressures of globalization have really pushed for a supply chain which is very squeezed in terms of time, cost and delivery cycles, and our industry is in the forefront of achieving some of these goals, and we have no choice. We are given no choice by the charterers in this respect. So so with port stays getting short, the time on board squeezed, the pressures have increased, the risks have increased. All this calls for enormous planning in advance. So better emphasis on planning, better emphasis on getting the tools organized, better emphasis on coordinating the team members' efforts. All this requires a certain element of knowledge capture in a way that can be taught to others, and the knowledge can be transferred over a period of time in a short time frame. So I think all this leads to the conclusion that yes, the process excellence has to be not only in the office side but also increasingly on the ship side. The highly educated workforce is a very big advantage for us to reorient them and fine tune some of these ideas in their mind.
So if you think about the application of Lean Six Sigma concepts and techniques, which are the critical processes that come to your mind, and which techniques do you think can be applied straight away?
I think, though I'm not an expert in this area yet, but whatever little I have learned, I'm seeing that in terms of relevance to our business, there are some of these ideas are extremely relevant and will definitely be useful if implemented in the right spirit, with the right training to our workforce. So, for example, on board a ship, I see straight away 2-3 applications of the lean concepts. For example, 7 ways. Now, 7 ways is removing the muda in the operations part is a very important part of our onboard operations. This the captains can plan for repair jobs, can plan for provisions, can plan for dry docking of ships, can plan for even berthing ships, cargo loading, discharging, pretty much everything that happens, because they need to remove the non-value added items in the process so that the turnaround times are achieved. So the goal works backward from the turnaround times in our industry. So therefore I see a huge application in terms of 7 ways, which can also, I think, give a better focus and clarity to the team members performing the respective jobs. Also in terms of let us say risk management on board a ship, there are a lot of applications related to mistake proofing and poka-yoke. Whether it is entry into enclosed spaces where the hazards are huge, or in terms of even carrying certain types of cargo. For example, iron ore attracts moisture, and in at least 3 or 4 cases in our industry we have seen that because of the lack of awareness of the risks and good treatment, ships have sunk and we have lost a few seafarers as well. In the office side, I find almost a lot of these concepts of Six Sigma applicable in some of our key business processes, like for example recruitment process. So we hire thousands of seafarers almost on a monthly basis. So this can be a very important business decision for us. So therefore getting the right man on the right ship at the right time in the right position is an extremely important business decision. We also do a fair amount of relief planning, which means we take off a captain who has finished his time or a contract on board a ship, maybe 4 to 5 months, and then you get a replacement on board. Now this involves enormous planning and within a certain budget constraint, because we need to pay fare fares, we need to look at right from taxi fares to hotel stays to pretty much, and also manage constraints like rest hours, because we also need to give enough time for the person taking over the ship to have thorough briefing, to look at all the notes, to look at all the pending jobs, and also to have enough rest before he takes over as a captain or a seafarer in that particular role. So relief planning is a very important process for us, both in terms of cost, in terms of customer satisfaction, and in terms of performance as well. Also, I would say things like payables. Now we deal with thousands of suppliers and spend millions of dollars of our customers' money. So the payables process in multiple currencies, and we have some let's say SLAs and KPIs, like within 30 days of receiving an invoice in office we must make the payment. So we deal with many suppliers. These are large suppliers worldwide, so that's a very important function as well. Also I would say things like payroll process in our industry is very important, because the seafarers are out serving on the ship maybe 5 months or 6 months at a stretch, but we still need to make sure that their salaries go on time to their families. So the payroll process on time, in the currency they want, in the bank account they want. Sometimes they ask for splits, sometimes they take a little amount of cash on board when they get relieved because they want to buy certain things for their families. So I think flexibility in managing the payroll process as per the demands of the seafarers, and we do have measurements like on-time payment, which are maybe sound a bit not so serious in the shore-based industry, but for our seafarers it's extremely important, because there are multiple currencies involved. We cannot make payments in INR directly. All our payments are in US dollar or in euro. So we need to plan for bank holidays, we need to plan for a lot of these things. So payroll process also, there's an important element of customer satisfaction, and also I would say cost element, because every time we do an allotment or a payment, there are bank charges involved. So if our objective is to minimize the cost of the transactional side and ensure the seafarers get the maximum amount, for every $100 salary they receive close to $99.99, I think that's a win-win proposition. So I think many of these business processes can benefit from such techniques like Six Sigma, and this is my effort to study this program and learn some of these techniques. And maybe in 2 years time, when you are ready for such concepts, when we have stabilized our business process, harmonized it after the merger of 6 companies we are going through now, maybe that's the right time to look at some of these concepts and see how we can benefit from this to create a future platform for us.
Okay, Bhaskar, so this communication which you have made, I think, is extremely valuable for people who did not know anything about this industry, and also for people from this industry who would probably start visualizing the use of these techniques in future. So thank you for joining us here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.